Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucking smack addict, right? And as you can tell by today's thumbnail, yes, indeed, let's talk about it, man. The man, the myth, the legend, the most respected in the highest regards. No doubt about it. One Mr. Tarzan Castaneda, right? And when I say Tarzan Castaneda, man, his voice, his sound, his name, homeboy, reverberates, around the block. The Vato is well respected and needs to be. And let me talk about this Vato Tarzan, right? For those of you that don't know, he's the definition of a real gangster. Okay, see, there's gang members, homes, and then there's gangsters. This Vato kept it gangster, kept it G, kept it solid, and kept it pushing his whole career. And he had a long career, One of the original NF members, and one of the original NF members that was pulled from down south. Yes, indubitably, never denying his roots from the sur of California. That man was from Pomona 12th Street Sharks, a very well-known barrio out of the San Gabriel Valle. Shout out to the Pomona 12th Street Sharks. I had the privilege of doing a lot of time in CYA and the penitentiary with these individuals. And I can say, man, these Sharksteros carried themselves in a righteous fashion. They were hitters. Most definitely they functioned. But yes, indeed, man, there's no denying that one Mr. Tarzan Castaneda from the La Nuestra Familia, was a member of the Pomona 12th Street Sharks. A lot of people trip and they say, hey, Gun, how can that be? How can he be from down south? Well, you got to understand that the Nuestra Familia, when it was originally founded, was founded by all Vatos from down south, However you want to believe the story, or whatever quite contrary to what you believe, where Vatos were getting persecuted and oppressed, and so the NF's founded from that, the flower bloomed. It's a story, man. There's always going to be he said, she said, and people are going to pick their sides and loyal to what they want to say and what they want to believe. Hence, this Vato found himself hanging around the Vatos from the NF and got recruited and pulled into it and wholeheartedly went into it with the determination and the solidness of a righteous soldado, right? Now, through the years, this Vato did his time. He did his time, and he always had a good, upstanding name, a solid name. And that's hard to do. That's hard to do in any group faction, any group segment within the California penal system, the prison system, and then even going into the feds where he ultimately ended up. You got to understand that back in them days, the 70s, early 70s, mid 70s, late 70s, 80s, these Vatos were all killers on these yards. A man wasn't measured by how he threw his fists. A man was measured by how many kills he had, right? And quite contrary to what a lot of people out there believe, there was Vatos that if they hit you and they went back to the oil and they didn't kill you, their homeboys were giving them a hard time. So I was good. How many times you hit him? I hit him 10. 10? You're supposed to hit that about 15 times, and in that fashion. Watch out. Let me show you how to do it. We're going to do it just nice. Come to the AWAC, so I'll show you how to do it real nice, boy. This is how motherfuckers felt. Kills was the measure of a man back in them days. So all these guys from the NF as well as the MF back in the days and the BGF, AB, these different group organizations, these big four, all had several kills under their belts. Blood in, blood out, Vato, you know what I mean? And quite contrary to what a lot of motherfuckers want to believe in a menudo style in a direct fashion, hey, every single one of them Vatos from all them group factions would bring you the business at any given time. And Mr. Tarzan Castaneda lived through that era. Not a lot of people have. A lot of people have defected. They rolled it up. They didn't want no part. So you know what I mean? Hey. Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, I want to go. Yeah. Lock it up. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll hold. You know what I mean? And they held. And that was it. Operator said, I'll fucking patch you into the PC. And that's the route they went. But Tarzan never did that. And for that, he is to be well respected. I know within the Norteño organization, I know within the NF, his name is held in high regards and held in high esteem. And every group has that. I know over there in the MMN, there's people talked about like Mariano Chuy Rivera or even, Cheyenne Cadena and Joe Morgan. And these individuals are held in very respected, high regards. Because they've earned their way. They've paved the way. They were the founding fathers. They set down the foundation. They put them cobblestones in that road. Don't follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. They fucking made the yellow brick road. You know what I mean? So you got to give respect to these forefathers for what they have done for the gente. Whether you see it as a righteous cause or you see it as a frivolous cause, it don't matter. A cause is what it is. They have theirs and the NF had their own, right? And Pablo, and Pablo, he was a baboso. Tarzan Castaneda was one of the main vatos to put that foundation down, you know? And, you know, him being from down south was not a hindrance to his style, you know? Quite contrary to what people want to believe, thinking, oh, because he was from down south, it was different. Charlie, man, he wholeheartedly was an NF member and believed that shit and was through and through NF. Now, of course, you know, he did his state time and was in the mix. Anything that arose, anything that came up, anything, he got involved in it and made it happen. You know, I've heard a lot of stories about Tarzan. The Vato was very vicious, and believe it or not, I've heard stories where Vatos were scared of him. Yes, indubitably. Vato said that, and this is just a myth, a rumor, but here's a rumor I'm going to put out there you ain't never heard. Vatos used to say that they used to walk past his cell, and this Vato would be sitting Indian style doing prayer, homes, and would be floating. There's a lot of Vatos that have said that. They said they were pretty scared of Tarzan, that he was different. Very quiet individual, didn't talk to many people, but you could see the killer in him. Orale, like Michael Myers, homes. Didn't have much words to say, but Sasuke was good with the pedazo. And he did his thing, bro. You know, the Norteños respected him for being a forefather and being one of the last gente from down south to do it. The Sureños and Southsiders and MA members respected him also for the longevity of his career and the solidness in which he did that. That's just what it is, man. Real recognizes real. Respect is given to those who have earned it. You know, it doesn't matter what side you're from. Sasuke, they might not like your fucking cause. They might not like that stilo. They might not like the color you wear. They might not like the way you talk, homes. But at the end of the day, Sasuke, a real gangster recognizes a real gangster. They're going to show him at least that level of respect. That's respect of a man. You know, when a man goes through so much oppression and hardships, just being in the penitentiary and going through these different eras and different phases and all these different J-Cats and people that he ran into and righteous soldados and canalismo and the embracement and the indoctrination and the education and the self-sufficiency of doing what he does, man, you got to give him respect, period. He's seen things and forgot things that we'll never know. You know, of course, tragically, he passed away about 1.5 years ago. And, you know, that's what happens. You know, people pass away. You come into this world, you lay your foundation, you do what you do in this world, and then you move on to the next round. Whatever the case may be, you do it in a menudo motherfucker style. You know, you were being bound, and now it's time to get on down the road, Jack, and do what you do. You know, but it's all respects given to a vato like Tarzan. You know, indubitably, you got to give this man his due. Now, he did ultimately end up in the feds. He did ultimately end up in the feds and did happen to see this federal faction and the state faction. Now, what his thinking was with this, I'll never know. We'll never know. You know, I'm sure those that were around him, those that were in close proximity to him, that he did talk to, the few that he did, knew his thinking on it. You know, being someone from the old era that seen the first split with the first faction of the NF and then the second, meaning the Babo Sosa faction with Death Row Joe, and then the split when Black Bob Vasquez took over and made the Mesa system. He went through all that, homes. Then he seen the 80s, which we call the silent era, when not much is spoken upon the NF, when they were being snatched off the yardas and being put in these indeterminate shoes, all the way into the 90s when soldados were hitting each other and establishing yards, you know, in the north and south, the norteños and the sureño soldados were really making a ruckus and going at it, homes, and establishing their spots on these yardas, the respect level. Then he's seen the 2000s, homes, when Vato started getting a little bit of different and all this diversion and this fucking flipping, you know, SNYs, PC cases, and he went through all that, still solid, still functioning, still doing his thing. A viejito, but a viejito with respect, homes, and a sound mind. Okay, now when he got caught up and caught a Fed case, he actually did a robbery, came back, caught a Fed case where he was stretched out doing all day, and was respected. You know, there was a lot of times I heard, man, that they said, you know, you got to understand at this time, there wasn't a lot of norteños functioning in the feds. There's always been norteños, there's always been NF members, but not as deep as they are now and as well established as they are. So this Vato was like solo bolo, like a sideways leading cholo doing his thing, you know. He did his thing for many, many years on the solo tip and could still fucking hang his head up high. You know, not many people can say that. Is it a reflection of his barrio? Is it a reflection of him being a man? Is it a reflection of his education, of his organization? It's all that, bro. All that goes into making a gangster. I tell people there's a big fucking difference between a gang member and a gangster. Anybody can get jumped into a gang. Sasuke, how long? 13, 14 seconds? Fucking pole. Sas. Fuck, that hurt. Anyways, they become a gang member, and it's all good in the hood. And when crunch time comes and you grab that little 380 and you get the yamming homes, that's when you find out what the motherfucker's really about. And anybody can squeeze a trigger. But when you hit that yada and you're doing those burpees, homes, you're doing those push-ups, oh my, right? And you're really rolling that mattress up and you're writing the messages and you're hooping those pedazos and you're fucking out there making sure everything's, accounted for, and you're doing your counts or whatever the case may be, homes, however your group rolls. That's when you become a well-educated and an established soldado. And not a lot of people can hang with that. They say, fuck it, on la primera, I'm gone. But then in that fashion, orale, right? And they're gone. They're out. Peace. See you later. Solidarity is out the toilet. Sasuke, Sherman. Orale, Sherman. Go that way. You know what I mean? Wipe your ass on the way out. It happens to a lot of people. And then there's a lot of fucking righteous individuals that just get caught up in the cross, get X'd out for frivolous antics or for frivolous things, and power tripping, individualism, whatever the case may be, man. At the end of the day, they get deemed and sayonara, see you later. You're over there with Charmin, co-chilling, dripping the toilet. It's what it is. But this man made it through all that, Tarzan. Somehow he was able to wiggle. And I don't think he was even wiggling. I think he was just doing him and being himself. I think the level of respect he earned back in the 70s and the 80s of hitting motherfuckers left and right, of being a righteous soldado for the establishment of the people, was what carried him through. He was always looked at and held in high regards. One of the last vatos from Sul Califas, as well with DC from Chino, and a couple others, Pinky de Cucamonga, as being the last vatos from down south representing the NF, right? But he's one of the original. And I didn't know his status as far as, I know he left solid and functioning, but I didn't know his status as his position within the organization at the time of his demise. Whatever the case may be, I've only heard him held in high regards and respected, So I can't say nothing, absolutely nothing bad about this Vato, and I wouldn't. I don't know him like that to speak on his name and denigrate his name. At the same time, I will say this. The Vatos that came from down south, they had a dream. Vato like Martin Luther King. They had a dream that one day the oppression of the people and the suffering of the gente, the raza as a whole could cease. They suffered and put a foundation down for the social status of equality, meaning the gente could get there and just get their just due rights, man. Just get everything equal while in the penitentiary. They wanted to make sure that we had yards established for the betterment and safety and security of the people. People meaning the northern people, but it didn't start out that way. It wasn't a north-south thing. It was a raza thing. It was always a raza thing. And of course, you have bad individuals that join these cliques, bad individuals that join these mobs. They have an agenda, an agenda for themselves. And that takes precedence over the true meaning of brotherhood and canalismo. And what that does, man, is it throws a fucking stick in the smoke and shit goes wrong. Tires get flattened. Sasuke, rims get bent. And you can't roll, homes. And if the rim's bent, Sasuke, follow the yellow barrel. You wobble, homes. Wobble. You know what I mean? Wobble. You're getting your wobble on. But it ain't all about that, bro. It's about the motherfucker that continues to struggle and strive forever forward. And the righteousness and the solidness of his character is the one that stays on that straight path, is the one that at the end of the day gets that respect, gets that love, gets his name put into the historia. And that's what Tarzan did. Okay? Now, a lot of people are going to say, but what did he win out of it? Of just a lifetime of anguish and a lifetime of being locked up? Well, yeah, he had that coming because he committed crime. When you're out there committing crime, no matter what organization you're from, even as a man, you do the crime, you're going to fucking do your time. You have no choice. Administration is going to deem it that way. You have to do your time. Better what's how you do your time is the measure of a man. Okay? You can go in there and Sasuke, you can tell on everyone. Man, you're considered a raton. They don't fuck with you. It's all bad everywhere you go. Sauce! And in that fashion, right? Or you can go in there, and just be a real quiet one, man, that just gets in where he fits in, sly, slick character, and wiggles and barely makes it through. Sasuke gets out and lies about how he was doing it, right? About his position and all that, his status. Or you could be a real righteous soldado that just goes by the cause, goes by the Bible, goes by what he believes in, man, and stays solid and 10 toes down. When it's his time to shine, he shines. When it's not, it's not, you know? And those are the individuals that at the end of the day, they might not have nothing, but they have balls, homes. Their word, Sasuke like Tony, and respect. And respect, when that is all that you have to look forward to, is something that really, really is the measure of a man. This is what Tarzan had. You know, as far as the Norteño history and the NF history, he's always going to be someone regarded like that. See, he's already passed. And he passed in good standings. He passed without a blemish, homes. He passed with righteousness. So you got to show him his. You know, I'm sure he had his own differences of opinion with this federal faction, state faction thing. And I'm sure he had his own opinion on what was going on, man. And he felt some type of way. But because he was in the feds, of course, he functioned with the federal faction as such. And that's what it was. You know, like I said, he was there long before this shit went down. And he was there long. And now he's gone. And it's going to be going on long after he's gone. You know, but at the end of the day, man, he stood the test of man, the test of time. And he did his thing. You know, so that's why I'm giving respect to Tarzan. Being from Pomona 12th Street Sharks, let's talk about that audio for a minute. I can't sit here and tell you the history of that hood. I can tell you that the vatos I've done time with, shout out to Speedy, Negro, Sharky, Johnny Boy, Smokey. These individuals from Pomona 12th Street were different, homes. I ran into a lot of Southsiders, a lot of Sureños doing time, especially in Fred C. Nellis when I was younger, right there in the heart of Southeast LA, Whittier. That's where I became accustomed to all these different barrios. That's where I met vatos from 18, Florencia, Playboys, the Avs, Homes Maravilla, MS. The list will go on arriba, ahí, San Diego, Loma, Lomita, the Flats, Compton, everywhere, bro. Everywhere. I ain't leaving no audios. That's what it is. San Fernando Valley, stand up. But it always seemed like the San Gabriel Valle was just a little bit more vicious than the others, homes. To me. These were the vatos getting off on us. These were the vatos making sure, homes, that they hit that school area to get off. And it seemed like one audio I kept hearing over and over and over again. And that was Pomona 12th Street Sharkies. Right? And I'm going to say every other vato just said, no, Charlie Holmes, it was the vato from 18. Them vatos were giving us the blues. Orale, it was Maravilla. Everyone has their own different vatos they're going to talk about and how it went for them. But I'm saying me personally, Gun, Skins from the West, Dead End, homes. The vatos that were getting off with me the most were Pomona 12th Street Sharks. And that's why I give them so much respect, because the vatos handled their business like they were supposed to. Can't take nothing from that hood. That hood was righteously, did their shit, homes. You know, and I've heard that they got a good name out there on the guys. Now, I don't know. Their enemigas might say something different, but I'm just saying from my experience what time it was, you know. And motherfucking Tarzan was from that barrio. One of the OG's original members from that barrio. You know, it's a trip how these vatos are running around Sul real big, and righteously so. They're Southsiders. They're representing that Sul, the Southern United Raza. They're doing their thing. But at the same time, they got to understand that one of their OG founding homeboys from their barrio was and is forever going to be considered an NF member. It's just the way it is, bro. You know, truth be told, homes, there's a vato out of Merced, the west side, homes, well known, straight up, homes. I can't say he's originally from my neighborhood, but he's from the same fucking side of the fucking town I'm on, west side. He's known as one Mr. Frankie B from Merced, Chivo de Merced, west side, homes, and he was an MM member. So I'm kind of in the same boat, lightweight, you know, and I respect him. He's got respect, bro. You know, he's got respect. Doesn't matter what organization you're from. At the end of the day, it's all a raza thing with me. And I show these men a level of respect because they've achieved what a lot of people can't. And I know there's going to be a lot of people say, well, that ain't no big achievement. What, they became a gang member? ¿Sabes qué? You step in their shoes one day. ¿Sabes qué? Pick up a pedazo and handle it. Then you tell me who gets that respect. Not every man could do that. To slide something into someone is more personal. I've done both. You know what I mean? I've clapped and snapped. The snapper, you know what I mean? I've done it. Anyways, I just wanted to show some respect to Tarzan Castaneda because he deserves it. He's well spoken of. Like I said, tragically, he passed away about a year and a half ago. I have some homeboys that shot me funeral footage of him. I put it up the first time. People tripped on it. Basically, YouTube, you know, they thought it was a little too graphic. So I'm not going to put it on this spill. It was in my last channel. But those of you that know. You don't need to see him in the casket, Holmes. See him alive, Holmes. See him fucking when he was at his best, rocking. I will say them stories I heard have always tripped me out of him floating and doing things like that. There was a lot of authors that said that. They said they used to walk by his cell. Said about used to be sitting, meditating, Holmes. He was into his meditation, this viejito, man. He was just his own trip, Holmes. And people would see him floating, literally floating. I've heard it several times by several different people from several different sides. It's just a trip. Anyways, at the end of the day, it's nothing but respect. Shout out to fucking rest in peace to one big Tarzan, man. Castaneda, the Pomona 12th Street, NF. And that's what it be like, man. The gun. I hope that you guys get everything that you want coming to you. I hope that you move fast with a purpose. Remember, at the end of the day, that's called hustling. Go out there and get it for your gente. Go out there and get it for your people. Go out there and get it for our people. For the people, by the people. At the end of the day, we are all we have. You know what I mean? We're all that we're going to continue to have, you know? It's a struggle, Holmes, but strive forever forward because you know what time it is. The gun. Let's unite this shit. It's getting old already.